Welcome. We are reading SCP-1780 today. All the 80s from the 1700. And so, I'm gonna wait just a schmitch to see if anybody from the usual crew shows up. Howard did say he might not be able to show up, so that's a shame. But there's nothing I can do about it. Henry's here with us. That's all that matters. Let's see if Vin1 will show up. Maybe later. Who knows? Did I lose a follower? Fuck! I just looked over and I just saw that like the 135 went to 134, and I was like, somebody just left in the middle. Oh well. What can you do? What can you do? Let me check if it works. It does not work. My beep sound does not work for some odd reason. Come on. There we go. Now it works. Can't have an SCP reading without the censorship button for all those black boxes that we go see. I'm also sad that I can't seem to get the voice change to work correctly anymore for stream. It used to work fine, but I think ever since I got the banana voice meter downloaded, there's some like hiccups happening, and I still haven't really figured out how to solve it. But yeah, all right. I think we gave Vin1 enough time. Again, they might be right on the way anyway, but I'm gonna start reading the first SCP of today, called the Temporal Anomalies Department. Okay, and while we are on here, I need to double check that everything actually works. Yeah, and also I need to double check something else. Output, no, video. Interesting. Enable dual output. I see. What is it? Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, for some reason it's not recording it. There we go. And the rating from yesterday can go away now. Perfect. Pardon me, just getting all the things full and prepared. There we go. Now we can get this party started. So, oh god, this is a hefty one to begin with. Ooh, that's okay. Once again, the Temporal Anomalies Department. Let's go. Safe. It is highly rated though. It is highly rated. Special containment procedures. SCP-1780 is contained in a high-value anomalous item storage locker 0097 at Site 17. Access is permitted to personnel with level 4 clearance at the discretion of the item's HMCL supervisor, currently Dr. Is that supposed to be Elijah or Lisa Schrader? Or maybe Schrader? Well, I think that's more like a German Schrader, so Eliza Schrader. Experimentation with SCP-1780 and all sub-designations is suspended indefinitely. Oh, pardon about that. That's my friend texting me. The procedure below is kept for archival and emergency purpose only, and I have something left eye the whole day. I don't know what it is. Exploration of -1 is restricted to D-class personnel and robotic reconnaissance vehicles only. The entrance to -1 must be guarded by at least 3 level 3/1780 security personnel at all times during activation. Anomalous items discovered in -1 are to be contained under standard E-class protocol until such time as special containment procedures are implemented or amended to low-value anomalous item storage as appropriate. No anomalous items recovered from -1 may be remanded to low-value item storage or destroyed at the discretion of the items HMCL supervisor. One level 3 member of Site 17 security must manually hold the door to -1 open at all times while Foundation personnel or materials are inside. And here we also have a picture saying a covered item AO-1780-3. Okay. Should any number or type of -2 instances emerge, the entrance to -1 is to be sealed and SCP-1780 is to be deactivated immediately. Use of deadly force to contain -2 is authorized. Instances of -2 recovered during previous expedition may be contained under standard humanoid containment protocols. HCP-1. One hot copy of -3 is on. Oh, there's so many dashes already. Is on file in High Value Anomalous Documentation Storage Vault 0053. -3 must remain in a plastic sleeve, obscuring its reverse sides at all times. Personnel found reading the reverse side of document without authorization are to be terminated immediately. Further complete copies of -3 discovered are to be incinerated. Here we go. That was a very long containment procedure, but now we have the description. SCP-1780 is a plastic office nameplate of the style and used by the Foundation between 1990 and 2003. The item shows no special resistance to damage or age-related wear, and its condition suggests that it had been bruised for several decades at the time of recovery in 19. The inscription reads, PhD chairperson, Temporal Anomalies step followed by the Foundation emblem. There we go. No person by that name appears in the Foundation employee database, nor is there any record of a Temporal Anomalies department. I wonder if it's gonna be like last time where we had the shark punching and the other SPC universe, where it's like, oh, it's like the same but different. Same, another Foundation containing stuff, but in a different way. SCP-1780 remains inert unless placed into an appropriately sized nameplate mount. Upon activation, SCP-1780 manifests a standing temporal-spatial anomaly behind the nearest door within 3 meters. Designation -1. High-speed photography of -1 manifestation through windowed or glass doors has revealed the effect to be as near to instantaneous as can be measured. As such, the mechanism for this transformation is unknown. The space originally present behind this door remains accessible when approached from other entrances or via the destruction of walls. However, the door in use by SCP-1780 remains indestructible and cannot be opened from within by any means while SCP-1780 remains active. -1 appears to be Office CB, located on the floor of Site 17's Euclid Optics Experimentation Wing. And here we have a footnote saying, analysis of Office CB has yielded no evidence of anomalous activity. The office may be safely inhabited. Over subsequent observations, -1 has appeared to be in various states of neglect and disuse, but always contains the following items. Okay, here we go. Foundation office furniture consistent with equipment purchasing during the Site 17 renovation of 1995. Several whiteboards containing varying volumes of text and mathematical equations. See documentation info hazard expunged. A Remington Model 870 12-gauge shotgun loaded. A copy of Oxford's unabridged English dictionary. Publisher's info suggests printing date of 2000. 3 copies of Time's Life, Great Ages of Man, A History of the World's Culture, only one of which is consistent with observed history, and at least 1 instance of SCP-1780 and 1 aluminium nameplate bracket. Okay, god damn. You're asking quite a lot for me to keep in mind. Okay, testing with additional instances of SCP-1780 recovered has revealed that multiple instances of -1 can manifest simultaneously. Hey, Bimbon, I knew you would show up eventually. Whoops, sorry, I'm late. Could you summarize? You haven't really missed much. It just seems to be an SCP that seems to be a plastic office nameplate that creates like that has 3 3 different sections of itself, like -1, -2, -3. which this is all part of the containment procedures. This is the first one we read so far. Yeah, nothing really explained yet, except that it has certain items. Here we go. Over subsequent observation, -1 has appeared to be in various states of neglect and disuse, but always contains the following items, which I believe -1 is it's a designation. So we haven't really figured out yet what it does. There seems to be an office nameplate, a designation, has certain items in it, as you can see here. Some furniture, a shotgun, nameplate itself, some magazines. So I'm not fully aware yet what it does, but welcome. I'm happy you can join again. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not sure if Howard can join, because he did say yesterday he might not be able to. But everybody who's watching right now, welcome to Fluff. Welcome to SCP reading. We're reading the SCPs 1780s, so from 80 to 89, and yeah, we just started. So everybody, get yourself some popcorn or something to snack on, something to drink, and let's continue where we left off. Testing additional instances of SCP-1780 were covered has revealed that multiple instances of -1 can manifest simultaneously. And here we have each of these additional SCP-1780 instances were melted down at the conclusion of testing. None of the resultant slag showed anomalous properties. What effect, if any, the two... So, the moment I mention the devil, he shows up. I'll read what you say soon. Let me just finish this paragraph, otherwise we'll never get this done, because this is a lengthy one. What effect, if any, the two manifestations have on one another has yet to be determined. GPS tracking and redacted indicate that while all instances occupy the same physical locations, they are separated by an unknown interval of time. Experimentation using concealed timepieces, video, audio surveillance, and robotic drones to determine the nature of this temporal displacement remains inconclusive. Successfully retrieved timepieces appear in all cases to have remained in -1 in excess of 1 billion, 1 times 10 to the power of 9 years, and suggests active frustration of experimental efforts. Other objects or personnel left within -1 after the entrance is closed are no longer present when -1 is reopened and are to be considered irretrievable. -1 will, however, maintain a normal temporal relationship to our world line so long as the door to the room remains open. See Addendum 1 for a list of notable discovered items and documents. Yeah, that's another thing. It seems to be like another one of those cases where it's supposed to be part of the Foundation, but it's in the same time it's not, as in it's never existed within the Foundation's building, but it seems to have a use for the Foundation itself. Now I'm going with what you said, Howard. Hey, I'm really tired, so I might pop this on while I sleep. If I hear something funny, I might drop a comment. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate that you showed up, but if you're too tired, if you just want to sleep, just sleep, bro. Don't worry about it. Approximately 1 in every 10 manifestations of -1 has contained some number of humanoid entities, designated -2. These entities vary in appearance, behavior, but always claim to be Foundation employees. All -2 instances to date have claimed to be one of the following. My left eye is so irritated right now. I don't know what it is. Members of Site-17 security assigned to SCP-1780 instances are noted to be cooperative with extant Site-17 personnel. Field agents or research doctors assigned to an unknown Foundation special project team, RCT, whatever that triangle is, T, dealing with temporal anomalies. Instances are unpredictable and may be hostile to Site-17 personnel. Members of this containment team have been known to self-terminate when contained. Okay, so they say they're part of the Foundation, but the moment you contain them, they off themselves. Okay, and then we have Dr. Is this another SCP? Iteration 0. Okay, we have to read this then. This entity, -2A, has categorically categorically refused to divulge information pertaining to its origin, objectives, or nature, and has a... Wait, let me read that again. This entity, -2A, has categorically refused to divulge information pertaining to its origin, objectives, or nature, and has successfully evaded all attempts at capture to date. The behavior of the entity seems to indicate familiarity with containment tactics for hostile humanoids. Okay, I'm going to read iteration 0, because that's apparently the doctor. And I'm also going to quickly open this just to see... Okay, this one we don't have to read, the documentation info. We don't have to read this one. What about this one? That one we will also read. Okay, this is, as I said, it's a very lengthy one. There's a couple... I think that's... Oops, no, there's not no one. Oh god, this is... Okay. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Okay, so Dr. Blank Blank. Iteration 0. In his hands, Dr. Thaddeus Shank held a future that made him smile. Okay, I should read iteration after? Okay, gotcha. I'll do that. Then I shall do that. Of the -2 entities observed have been successfully terminated, contained, or otherwise accounted for. See Addendum 2 for notable incidents regarding -2 manifestations. No manifestation of -2A has ever been observed outside of experiments with SB-1780, and further containment attempts have been deemed an unnecessary risk. -3 is a document periodically found within -1, printed on Foundation letterhead circa 1998 and ostensibly written by -2A. There's a lot being connected to -2A right now. I'm not sure if I should skip it. The accidental exposure of Agent B and subsequent testing with D-class personnel has revealed that anomalous properties are isolated to the reverse side and require the reading and comprehension total for anomalous properties to manifest. The principal content of -3 consists of a welcome letter and orientation for an unknown Foundation Special Project Team, RCT. So, Vinvon, when you see this symbol, what do you say to this? Like, how do you call this? Because I've seen it a couple of times, but I just never like know what to call it. When read from the beginning, the rear of -3 reportedly describes in detail the nature of tachyon. Oh, is it tachyon flux? Documentation info has it expunged. T boson, which controls the rate and direction of time. I believe it's a Greek symbol. I can check what it's called. Oh, is it? That would make sense. Personnel given excerpts from the rear of the document, which do not include the prime delta. Oh, that's delta. Oh, okay. So RCT delta T. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate that. Personnel given excerpts from the rear of the document, which do not include the prime Roman for 4. Okay. Paragraphs report all other portions as consisting of indecipherable mathematical expression and technical jargon. These persons are not... I mean... Oh, okay. I was about to be like... The Romans and Greek... I mean, the Romans and Greek have copied from each other anyway. I got the Roman numerals on the brain. Are you thinking about the Roman Empire? Is that what's happening? These persons are not subject to the item's effects. Another footnote. This applies even to those subjects with the background in particle physics and quantum chromodynamics presumed necessary to understand the mechanisms and equation involved. To date, all personnel who have read the entirety of -3 have disappeared immediately, including those under constant observation. The method by which this is achieved is currently unknown. See Addendum 3 for more information. Level 4/1780 personnel may access document -WL for a transcript of the non-anomalous portion of -3. You know what? I'm going to read this one now, and this one as well now. I don't know why. It's bothering me that I don't have that I started this and just left it alone. Okay. In his hands, Dr. Thaddeus Cheyenne held the future, and that made him smile. It was a lump of grey metal, cool to the touch, with a laser-etched serial number, a portrait of George Washington, and a UPC code for Bush baked beans. It took a while to get all of that approved, but he needed to be sure. You couldn't split in the multi-U division without it landing in some parallel world or a seamless wormhole that leads directly to a point exactly 2 centimeters inside your own rectum. Lovely. Zhang wasn't interested in the same old present in some remote reality where people are giant lizards. He was interested in the future, and here it was. Melissa? Yes, sir, she said, beaming like the fresh ones sometimes do when things are going according to plan. Was the device active when you found the brick? Mr. Kim? Assistant researcher Leon Kim. Oh, Leon Kim raised his head from the wiring panel, blinked. Was the device left overnight? Dr. Shank wanted to know its status when the sample was retrieved. Melissa Brooks was always doing that, in her own vainglorious attempts to curry favor with superiors. Thought there was a promotion in it for her, probably. Shame she was such a kiss-ass that no one else trusted her. Shining glasses started to fog. His finger tapped, his thumb traced Washington's nose. Almost without thinking, he grabbed a bit of tape from the desk, slapped it on the brick, and wrote, "Retrieved," in black marker, just in case. Quinn was quiet for a long time. Okay, first of all, I didn't do anything with it. I don't actually care this time, Larry. Just tell me. Alright, yes. I'm sorry, I left it on running a debug after hours. That reference loop just keeps popping up no matter what I do. I'm working on it now. Shank nodded on... oh my god, my eye is acting up. Okay. Shank nodded on, but not said to receive was a good answer enough. Melissa, scan the surveillance logs from last night for this morning. I want to know about every spark, bang, shimmy, and flash. On the other side of the floor, past 10 dozen coolant pipes and 30 industrial strength cables, he placed the sample next to itself just as Gerald Kingston was putting the finishing touches on the UPC. Holy shit, when did this come in? Sometimes before opening today. Brooks is checking the log. Dear sweet Jesus, Gary said, picking up the small brick and turning it over in his hand, checking the middle marks with pinpoint pupils as he trained to focus. It looks like the real deal, but I want to get this over to microscopy and run the whole battery. Get it done, the doctor said, checking his watch. I want the original out of here by end of business today. Sure. It took me a bit of reading the description to understand, but it's a nameplate that when placed on the nameplate mount creates an office behind a door that closes by. Yes. That makes sense now. That makes sense now with like the furniture and all that stuff. And the certain items that they find. And how it seems like it's from the Foundation, but not. Now it makes sense. I'm glad you said that you also had to reread it a couple times, because like I wasn't fully sure if it just was a room that was an office that belonged to an alternate universe Foundation, or if it was the plate bringing in an alternate universe Foundation. But now, thank you for clarifying. Now I'm full. Now I understand. And bring Foreman in to make sure the calibration is spotless. Kim's having feedback issues again. Swear to God, Larry was going to be the death of this project, always trying to move out of his depth. Then again, so was Thaddeus. That's what got him out of bed in the morning. Jets of hot gas sprayed him down from every angle, and he spun in a circle. 6 months of doing this, it was as natural as breathing. The suit hung neatly in his locker, and he stepped outside. Plain sight where he was from. Plain sight. Where he was from, this would never have been tolerated. Would not be tolerated here for very much longer, probably. Sloppy work by the Foundation setting him up here, but there were biohazard signs and poison emblems and all the flashing lights and smokestack that belched black evil into the air, and that was enough. For anyone dumb enough to try and break into a chemical refinery, there were 2 golf carts on half-hourly rounds and the deceptively hard, pudgy-looking agents inside of them. Besides, there wasn't a radio tower or satellite signal stronger than 20 watts from maybe 50 kilometers in any direction, and the Podunk town where they took R&R was maybe 40 minutes down the road. It was far enough. It was isolated enough. The EM bands were clear enough. Maybe. Coughing, he scaled the stairs to the office and stepped inside, lights flickering on in that annoying mercury fluorescent glow. Practically Stone Age, and the whiteboards. 3 of the 4 filled to bursting with diagrams and equations in his trademark red ink. Cheyenne grabbed a bagel and an OJ as he stared at them, trying to remember, trying to fill in the gaps, trying to find the way out of the rat maze of casualty and float above it. He wasn't a rat, he was a man, and if something like this could happen once, twice now actually at the very least, then he could make it happen again. His calculator booted up and he thought with it for a while. The creepy blue sheen and white text a man never gets used to filled his vision, recorded his handwritten chaos and began to search for errors. It was close now, very close. The phone rang and he picked it up. Thad Chiank. Hi, Doc. It's Gary. Shoot. Paulson is losing his mind. The good doctor smiled and nodded to no one, privately celebrating. It's a brick, all right. Down to every last effect. When do you want to send it? Hold on a minute. 2 buttons tapped, and he watched as Melissa picked up the phone. It's Chiang. Put Kim on the line, and the researcher trotted across the floor, notes under his arm, and grabbed the phone. What's the status of the device? Same problem, but at least we isolated it in unit beta with some creative wiring. Alpha is green lit, access across the board, Kim said, looking up at the office window and giving it a thumbs up. The brick? He smiled and returned the gesture. Power up Alpha. It's going out right now. I'm on my way. 2 buttons, we're doing it. Get up here and bring the original. He'd never put on a clean suit so fast in his life. The spray was just quiet now when Kingston came out of the south end of the building with the brick in his hand. 4 men opened the door to the active chamber and held his breath as the 5 of them gathered around it. Carefully, it was placed inside a small glowing white box and closed. Cheyenne almost chuckled at how much it looked like the world's most expensive and overcomplicated microwave oven. As Unit Alpha powered up, the globe above it began to spin quietly and capacitors all over it whined. Why does this remind me of Steins Gate out of the sudden? Alright everyone, look sharp. We are now starting the official experiment log. A few taps on the keyboard and the microphones in the suit began recording. This is Dr. Thaddeus Chiang, beginning experiment log 11924. It is July 9th, 1992. Researcher Brooks, what's the correct time? Thaddeus asked, grinning to Melissa Brooks. 10:35 and 15 seconds on my mark. Larry King jumped behind the other console and put the time. 3, 2, 1, mark. The wiring settled into a steady hum and the first green light over the chamber lit. When did you recover the test object? Approximately 7. 7. Give or take a few minutes. Alright, Mr. Foreman, please input destination for today's date. At 6:30, that should leave enough of a window for Mrs. Brooks' discovery. Beeping keystrokes and another light, this one lingering yellow at a moment as the lock was established, then green. Blessed green. Mr. Kingston, how are those ion levels? We have gamma and alpha rad at 4 EV and holding. Ambient levels on the floor are 13 millirad. Everything's green. The team leaned in to watch closely, fingers crossed, breath bated. Dr. Cheyenne threw the switch, and after the bright flash of light with the chamber, it was gone. Localized tachyon field manipulation confirmed. Eat your heart out, Stephen Hawking. They cheered, they clapped, they patted one another about the back. Mr. Kim declared the killer shots on him after work, but the good doctor knew better. This one had been easy. They knew that at some point in the future it would work, or else there was a paradox afoot, and paradoxes are for logic and not for nature. Nature had no such conventions. The device simply could not work. Everyone, quiet, he said after a long, relieved exhale. Brooks, your job is to check, double-check, and triple-check all of the surveillance and monitoring equipment we have and report to me by the end of the day exactly what kind of conditions we can expect when something comes through. Foreman Kim, you two are on Beta. Get the bug fixed. Kingston, I need you to recalibrate Alpha to positive temporal with displacement repair and new sample. Paulson wanted a front row seat on the next trial, Gary said, looking hopeful. He's got it if he gets up here and helps you calibrate. And I mean, oscilloscopes, voltmeters. I want everything explained before I file this. I'm going to go see if I can't finish filing in the black box. The black box. Every engineer dreads the damn black box. That's what all those equations were about. Thad mused for a moment about it, scratching the graying hair at his temples as the blue screen came up over his vision, trying desperately to make sense of the math that had seemed so clear when he held the tachyon emitter in his hands, turned it over a few times, felt the warm glow of backwards time. Or maybe it was all just desperation and the team had gotten lucky. Maybe all of these equations weren't even necessary, and it all came down to the number 3 or 4 or whatever they were calling 33 these days. Theta Prime, right? Goddamn ridiculous. 3. God, that. Can you imagine calling 33 3? I would hate that. What about all of the other ones? His clearance didn't give him really juicy access to the hard temporal anomalies the Foundation was just starting to play with. Hell, he didn't even know for sure if 711 had been built, disassembled, encased in concrete, or still sat on the drawing board of someone's office as a kind of pet project. Or maybe he was conceiving of it now, down in that clean room with a bunch of eager, talented researchers. And when were they going to discover SCP-17? Oh dear God, the view. How had he not noticed this before? The door burst open below as Shiang jumped to his feet just in time to watch it all happen for the first time. There was a lot of yelling, lots of it, about getting on knees and stepping away from the machinery and putting down the clipboard, and they were also shocked to comply. No. Carrie Kingston got it first, 2 in the head. No! Melissa ducked behind the desk and covered her ears just in time for Paulson to catch a few rounds with his upper torso and fall out of sight half a second later. No! Kim and Foreman felt like cans on a fence post lying in puddles of their own blood. He could still hear Kim gagging on his last moments of life. No! Thad slammed the alarm and let it blare, and the 4 men moved into the room, scanning computer monitors and smashing equipment, heading further the basement and the other screaming technicians. You could see the surprise in the balls of Mr. M4A1 himself when he saw Unit Beta, heard the humming and whining and sparks. He screamed something about getting out, and then there was the white flash right on schedule. And then it started again. All 5 of them miled about the floor, working their way through the recalibration without a care in the world. Each one of them dead certain that they get a huge raise, better clearance, and maybe even a Nobel Prize if it ever went public. God damn it, no! Thad grabbed the just-in-case 12 gauge from behind the filing cabinet and bolted out the door, down the stairs, and came to the clean room entrance. Maybe he was part of it. Maybe he was aware. Maybe it was time to save them all and stop the loop. But the knob was hot, and he daren't enter. That's not real, right? Daren't? I mean, I know they're not, right? But daren't? Might have 5 cans of cancer already now that the shielding was forfeit. He wasn't part of it, and there wasn't time. If he had been, then there would be a paradox afoot. Paradoxes don't exist in nature. Smoke billowed out the window in thick plumes. The white panel van was already speeding off, too far away to make the doctor out as he pressed his body against the building and waited, and waited, and waited. 2 hours later, the MTF arrived and put out the fires and backed up the charred remains and harvested the scrap for secure disposal. The whole installation was tagged, bagged, shipped off for review. A truck pumped the basement full of concrete, and just like that, it was over. For Thad, it was still happening. They found him in the office, watching his research assistant die over and over with a dead look in his eyes and a pint of whiskey in his hands. Dr. Shayank? Are you alright? Nope. Not even a little. He didn't speak again until he was in the ambulance. All 5 didn't like his write-up. They liked him one bit. Explain this to me again, 5 said, as 3, 7, 12, and 9 said with their arms folded and the rows folded on the various screens. Event boundary. What is that? It's a psychological phenomenon, how the brain categorizes events. Something as simple as changing the room you're standing in begins a new event to be logged in memory. That's why a person can head to the kitchen to get a sandwich and completely forget why they weren't there as soon as they walked through the door. Dr. Chang was nervous. His reputation, his clearance level, his future with the Foundation hang in the... Future with the Foundation. That was good. He have to remember that. Oh wait, this is Dr. Chang saying... I gave him the wrong voice then. Sorry about that. 057 laughed, but not with him so much as at him. You really expect us to believe that human psychology held a tachyon cascade? That's honestly what you're saying? Yes, sir, Thad replied, hanging his head and looking at the floor. The machine had a maximum drain of 5 megawatts, but the actual tachyon field accounts for only 15 watts, which is significantly less than... So, if you witnessed this event firsthand, 3 interrupted, how comes it that you aren't stuck in that loop with them? Or is this thanks to your fanciful event boundary hypothesis? It is, sir. And the assailants which caused this debacle? Chang sighed deeply. My estimation is that the Global Occult Coalition detected the experiment via ground-based tachyon detection equipment and moved to intercept emitter. How they detected it, I do not know. 12 cleared his throat. The other 05s went quiet and serious. Agent Tomlin, Hans said, secure Dr. Shank. We will return with our decision after a brief recess. 5 of the 10 minutes of his life staring straight ahead at those shit LED screens as he wondered over and over again why he hadn't tried to move the whole operation on the ground. 37 researchers dead, millions of dollars worth of equipment, and 5 years of research with a working tachyon emitter gone. Poof! In another year they could have built a second, but there was no way now. Someone had found out and broken it. The bill was on his tab, and the blood was on his hands. When the lights came back on it was fast and to the point. Given Dr. Shayang's valuable research into tachyon field theory, we have determined that a certain amount of leniency is in order. Dr. Shayang, you are hereby demoted to level 3 clearance and are to report to our new containment site immediately. Your assignment will be documentation, experimentation, and implementation of containment procedures for the temporal anomaly designated SCP-176. Sir? It's your mess, Thaddeus, 12 said, leaning forward. Now go clean it up. It was eerie watching it. His ticket home was ticking in there still, and he might yet get to it if he could find a way. He must have seen this site a dozen times in the time before. But now he knew these people, knew the machine, knew the circumstances and what would have happened next if everything had just gone to plan. After 3 more hours watching it, the effect wore off, and before him was just another anomaly to be catalogued. This is the way the world moves on. Erasing his beloved whiteboard, Thad cracked his knuckles and began. Description: SCP-176 is an abandoned chemical factory situated near... Nah, they probably leave that out. Ditto expunged. Okay, that's our good old Dr. Thaddeus, I believe. Thaddeus Shank, right here. Looks like he came to our time and tried to find a way back, but yeah, he became part of the Foundation. Now we have also the access to WL for the transfer of non-anomalous portion, which is a lot shorter. This one is a long read for the very first, as long as it's not a 3-hour read, which it isn't, but it's going to be a long read. Forward, the document has been transcribed from the non-anomalous portion of -3, first recovered from -1 on the 8th 6, 1993. Analysis of the paper, letterhead, typeface, and radio isotope watermarking remains inconclusive. It is the opinion of the SCP-1780 research team that the article is either genuine, produced by some alternate version of the Foundation, or forgery requiring a... Is that Zeta? I forgot. I'm not sure which one it is. Level security breach to duplicate. Investigation into both leading hypotheses is ongoing. All level 4 staff are advised to report mentions of the name Thaddeus or Thad Chiank among lower security personnel to the HMCL supervisor of SCP-1780, currently Dr. Elitsa Sharada, as soon as possible, as this may indicate infiltration of -2A. Welcome to RCT Delta T, a brief overview by Dr. Thaddeus Chiank. Thank you for your interest in temporal anomalies, and good luck to you that you managed to receive a copy of this letter. It is my understanding that of the plurality of timelines in which the Foundation or an analogous organization has come to pass, only about a dozen of these includes a department, specifically for the handling of temporal anomalies, and only 3 known timelines have authorized the targeted application of temporal displacement as a containment strategy. My sincerest congratulations to you for seeing the value in this assignment, especially with the understanding that possession of this letter is grounds for termination or indefinite confinement in 9 out of 10 destination casualties. You have undertaken a grave risk by accepting this appointment. Thank you for that. So let's start with the basic premise that everything you know about temporal dynamics is fundamentally flawed. Despite what even I might tell you, paradoxes do exist. Loosely defined, a temporal paradox is in any situation arising from an interruption in an ordered sequence of events which requires that 2 contradictory outcomes be held as true by the universe simultaneously. Up until the time of this writing, it was believed by most researchers that such an event would necessarily require the destruction of one of both timelines, the planet Earth, or local light cone, or, well, you get the idea. XK class or bust, as it were. The truth, thankfully, is very much more subtle than that. Rather than creating an entirely new universe, these may or may not suffer from the same loss of temporal fidelity as our own. Paradoxes split casualty into several distinct branches. Of course, this is a gross oversimplification due to the chaotic nature of time in the first place. Suffice it to say, we're closer to a Copenhagen universe than a many worlds universe. I'm both writing this letter and not writing this letter. You're both reading it and not reading it. The 2 sequences of events take up precisely the same space and no additional spaces. What they do take up, however, is different frames of time, and these separate but simultaneously bulk casualties are maintained by the brain casualty of the collective inhabitants. Time is not only a physical phenomenon but a mental one as well. Minds create and maintain a low-power tachyon flux as a byproduct of sensory perception. In order to act meaningfully in the present with the information available from the senses streaming in continuously from the past, the mind must be able to base its reactions on several possible futures. This structure forms the fundamental self-referential loop at the heart of cognition, and as a result, not only do bulk casualties form due to billions of minds interacting in concert, but each of these minds creates an independent brain casualty in which its body state is defined. This is the mechanism by which a man can travel through the past and kill his own grandfather without breaking the universe. The man carries his own temporal sink with him and validates his own existence. This apartment can exist, and navigation between various bulk casualties remain possible because of this temporal sink. Each person carries their own history with them, and that person's history also represents a navigable casualty. What then is the mission of Research and Containment Team Delta T, or Delta T for short? Okay. There are several which include need of research doctors and assistants, trained agents, mobile task force members, and containment security specialists. Number 1, where possible, the elimination of tangential, second, looping, parallel, and perpendicular casualties by forcing a reset of the initiating condition. Number 2, assuring that certain events responsible for our own existence and the existence of the Foundation as a whole come to pass as recorded. Number 3, requisition of a temporarily isolated base of operations to serve as a staging area to combat retrocausal threats and maintain a consistent history of human civilization. Improved sources currently under advisements, more to come later. Sorry about that. Discerning outcomes for the temporal isolation of Keter-level threats. Example, can we send the Keter cakes to reproduce forever during the heat deaths of the universe, and will it prevent cause in another Big Bang event? Wait, the Keter cakes? Are we talking about the cakes that like non-stop reproduce themselves? Number 5, extensive recovery efforts for lost and stolen SCP objects. Number 6, negation of the need to protect the timeline at all. Long-term goal currently under debate. Which of these missions you deign to attempt will require advanced understanding of several temporal anomalies, their boundary God damn. Their boundary conditions and their use as agents for temporal displacement. Certain missions may also require knowledge of cultural development and linguistics, as well as a few theories of predictive history. If you require access to materials in these fields or require time to study prior to your first deployment, a accommodation can be made. If the above explanations seem to be confusing, counterintuitive, or impossible in some way, then good. Realizing the incomprehensibility and inconsistency of temporal anomalies is the first step to understanding their use. Please see the back of this document for more information regarding temporal displacement and test exercise to get you started. Remember, you are embarking on a journey upon which mankind was arguably never meant to embark. But we will have started now, and in order to mitigate the damage which has already been done to every history in our universe, the only way is forward. We will secure the past. We can contain the present. We will protect the future. Thank you again and good luck. By whatever gods still live, you'll need it. Signed, Dr. Thaddeus Shayank, chairperson of the Temporal Anomalies Department. Whew. Oh, come on. Okay, good. Yeah, right. We must secure the past. We can contain the present. We will protect the future. That's a really good quote. It's a shame that that's only a quote that can technically only be used for this SCP. I mean, any SCP that has to do with time travel or time travel in alternate universes. But it's a really good quote. I like it. And then number 1, recovered items. These items were discovered within -1 upon activation and were deemed of sufficient importance to warrant retrieval and study. 1. Unidentified semi-automatic pistol chambered for 9mm Luger, discovered 1989, found to be a Beretta PX4 Storm during administrative review in 2006. 3. Automatic winding wristwatches bearing the Foundation insignia, which always display the correct time. Is this that one? No, it's not. The remains of two humans apparently killed by starvation. Remains were clothed in unidentified body armor bearing markings similar to that of Foundation security personnel. There's a lot of footnotes with this one. Discovered in 1993, found to be the remains of agents, and after the disappearance following encounter with -2A in 2006, remains removed from anomalous biological cold storage and buried. Agents and were posthumously awarded the Silver Star for meritorious services to the Foundation. God, this one is a long first. It is a long first one, but it's not as bad as the 3 hours one. Several pottery fragments and ceremonial blades marked with an unknown runic language. Blades have proven impossible to blunt or chip. Various periodical publications dated from 1902, none of which describe events which are entirely consistent with modern history. And then we have SCP objects, including data expunged. And then 2 notable incident summaries. So we have Incident 1, 8/1, 1990. Sergeant Michael Hadley was investigating an unknown firearm found within -1 when the entrance closed unexpectedly. -1 was found to be in a different condition when opened and contained a single instance of -2. The instance surrendered immediately, self-identified as Corporal Gregory Thompson, offered invalid but systematically consistent security credentials when prompted. Entity remanded into custody for investigation. Containment procedures were altered to require measures to prevent the unscheduled isolation of -1. Yeah, so you have to keep the door open, right, Win 1, because otherwise whatever is inside will like vanish or like exchange. Incident 2, 24th, 5th, 1990. First recorded appearance of -2A. The entity demanded personnel vacate -1 immediately and began firing upon attendant personnel, prompting the premature closing of -1. The projectiles were found in the experimental chamber after the conclusion of this incident. It is believed -2A fired upon researchers using blanks. Containment procedures were also to require an armed security officer to be present within experimental chambers at all times. Incident 7, 4/4/1997. 6 identical instances of -2 matching the description of -2A found within -1. Entities expressed confusion, refused to comply with the orders of attendant security officers, and opened fire, wounding 3 researchers. -1 successfully sealed. Containment procedures were altered to require the presence of at least 3 armed security personnel. Incident 9, 6/12/2003. 5 instances of -2 present upon manifestation immediately seek cover and begin dialogue with attendant security. Instances self-identify as members of RCT-Delta T and request access to Site 17, citing imminent. Containment breach. SCP. -2 instances are all able to provide valid security credentials. One is found to be a match for Sergeant present in attendant security. -2 instances lower weapons and are apprehended by security. All instances self-terminate while in containment, means unknown. Sergeant was subject to procedure redacted. Administered Class C amnestic and returned to active duty. SCP did not breach containment and no attempt at unauthorized access has been logged. Incident 12, 13th, 6th, 2006. Corporal Gregory Thompson broke protocol while attempting to recover a disabled robotic drone. The wooden wedge used to maintain the entrance to -1 became dislodged, allowing the door to close. -1 was found to be in a different condition when opened and contained a single instance of -2. The instance went immediately self-identified as Sergeant Michael Hadley. Isn't that the guy that yeah. Okay. Considered MIA. God, 16 years have passed. And offered valid security credentials when prompted. Administrative review of past -2 encounters discovered Corporal Thompson in containment at Site 17. Both security personnel remain in indefinite containment due to exposure to SCP-1780 to prevent cross-contamination of SCP objects. Oh God. Addendum 3, interview with Agent B. Okay, forward. Agent B was accidentally exposed to -3 on the 22nd, 4th, 1992 and was presumed dead following his disappearance. On the 14th, 8th, 2006, an instance of -2 manifested in -1 and self-identified as Agent B and offered valid security credentials when prompted. Of particular notice that Agent B's appearance has not changed, as would be expected after 14 years absence. Interview conducted by Dr. Elitza Schrader, First Agent Donald Cohen observing. Welcome back. I'm sorry we wouldn't meet under more favorable circumstances. Says here you... Camera, please. Alright. Then, from your perspective, how long have you been gone? 3 years, 21 days, 8 hours, 45 minutes, give or take. That's awfully specific. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Did you calculate that somehow, or... No, subject begins knocking on the table in rhythm. Knocks space precisely 1 second from one another. Note that no timepieces are present in the room. I counted. Forgive me, but I have a hard time believing that. You never lost count, not even once. Subject stops knocking. I did say give or take, didn't I? In my line of work, look, this is exactly why I came back, okay? Making dubious claims to your own ability to keep time doesn't seem very... Stop. Just stop. I know you're proud of your education and you're probably a very smart lady, but listen to me. You're getting in the way of your own agenda. How would you say we're doing that? Let's say hypothetically the Foundation knew of an extra-normal event which would happen exactly 1 month from now and would claim, I don't know, let's say 1 million lives. In your opinion, would it be our job to find out how to stop it and save these people? Of course we would. Who else? Right, and I agree. What I can't figure is why that answer is so controversial when the event in question will have happened 1 month ago. Pardon? But if it's already happened, then we can't do anything about it. We wouldn't be able to know about it unless we were already living out the consequences. Any other way to find out would be anomalous, which is against the general protocol in the Foundation Charter. Besides, there's no way of knowing that our efforts to stop it don't cause it in the first place, or that we're not being told about it by Okay, then let me put it this way. Let's say, hypothetically, that I know there will be an extra normal event exactly 31 calendar days from, subject is silent for approximately 4 seconds, right now. That I know it will claim about 1 million human lives. That I know this is because I came here from the future, where it will have happened already. And that I know the Foundation can stop this event if it wishes. So let me ask, just hypothetically, what are you going to do about it? I wouldn't believe you. You're anomalous. There's no reason for me to think you're telling the truth, and every reason to think you're lying to manipulate the Foundation. Of course. Good thing too. Excuse me? That we're speaking hypothetically, because you still can't see how you're getting in your own way. I wouldn't worry about it though. Thankfully it's not up to you. End of log. Following this injury in Agent B was recommended to permanent containment to prevent possible contamination of other SCP objects. No extra normal events of the scale described were recorded in the 90 days following this interview. It's always hi. It's always interesting how quickly the Foundation will just, label you as anomalous if you got into an accident with the SCP, right? You know what I mean? Like you're a human being the whole time you work for them, but then if the SCP somehow affects you out of the sudden, you're anomalous, and then you're like, oh yeah, we can't trust you anymore. I know some of the SCPs will manipulate the person they interact with in such a way that the Foundation is right, as in you can't trust them because they will try to break out or something like that. But still, it's crazy how this agent was basically teleported out of his reality for 3 years, comes back and starts talking about some sort of event, and the Dr. Schrader's response is yeah, I don't trust you because you're anomalous. You could be lying to me right now. It's wow, okay. So much for working for you guys. And then for recovered notes. The following handwritten notes believed to be authored by -2A were recovered within -1. Attempts to use similar notes to communicate with -2A have been inconclusive. Items listed in order of recovery. 140 at... 13 on the 2000. In string 36, will or write 1 through 198. Loop this note. You're welcome, but that's the last warning. Okay. False flag disregard next note. These motherfuckers got unionized, man. Yeah, right. False alarm. Please disregard previous note. Unknown unknown string sending hostiles, at least 2 of them at 19 53, be ready, loop message. Alternate Foundations, please stop taking my welcome letters. It is becoming increasingly difficult to approve them for printing. I have at least 20 people who still need to be reached. I'm sorry, you would have done the same. Cap and Sergeant at 23-1 debriefing, who keeps using the donut. And then we have Alternate Foundations. Filing paperwork for your camera equipment is wasting my time and your resources. You will not recover them. Please stop trying. This is part of a very long series of tales. Don't think it's necessary to read them. Gotcha. I'll read this off stream then and attach it to the video. I'll do that. Okay. Like wait, is it like multiple? Ah, I see what you mean. I see. Yeah, like pub 9 and so on and so forth. I see what you mean now. Okay, then maybe not. Then maybe not. Wait, guys, wait. Not sure what that was all about. It was my stepdad just like, "Hey, there's a couple police cars outside." I'm like, "What do you want me to do about it?" Like what? Like that happens so often. Like I don't know what you want me to do. That was a long read though. Gotta say, that was a long read. Thank you guys for, like, if you guys weren't here, I would have read that long ass thing in the, actually maybe not, I would have just read it off stream because I already am an hour in and we still have 9 more to go. So I'm glad I have somebody to tell me like, hey, there's no need to read this one, you can skip it, because otherwise I wouldn't have